Hello everyone. Last time I discussed a bit about Lady of Shalott. Today I would like to continue from there only. I remember we had talked about how Lady of Shalott is a feminist text and how this can be understood from the perspective of a woman, that it is talking about the predicament, the problems of women, especially in Victorian society, because this poem is set in Victorian society. And also I had discussed, I remember last time, this is how it represents art versus life. Art means private space, that is represented by Lady of Shalott, and life means public space, that is represented by Lancelot and Mary Toward Camelot. Today I would like to go further and just try to make you understand that even Alfred Lord Tennyson is considered to be anti-feminist, because the things which happen here in the poem are just trying to uphold, somewhere you can say, patriarchal status quo. But at the same time we can say this is not the complete truth that he is an anti-feminist, because he seems to be doing both. And how we can talk about that? Whatever the lines you are reading, you will find that somewhere he is talking that he's trying to dislocate means he's trying to say that no, patriarchal status quo should not be there. There should be the era for women should be able to take decisions. But at the same time, when they decide to take decisions, they dare to take decisions, they become failure. And this is considered to be, this is why it is called, see, he is trying to uphold. So this poem actually has both the things at the same time, upholding it and dislocating it. If you read the lines, if you read the lines, I can say just simple example that very famous lines are there, that you must have known that when she tries to come out and look down to Camelot, she comes to casement, that is a window. She comes there, and what happens there? Then the mirror where she used to look at the shadows, that cracks from side to side. I think you remember this line, the mirrors cracked from side to side. Mirror is what? Mirror is representing patriarchy. It is representing patriarchy. And when a woman is daring to come out of her feminine space, that is the private space, that is feminine space, so this happens that this mirror, which is actually representing women's domestic sphere, and it's also representing that women are allowed to see only the shadows, not the real world. It breaks. It means something new can happen. But the case is that when she comes down and she sits in a boat, you know there her eyes become glassy. Glassy means your eyes cannot see anything. Your eyes cannot see anything means again you are unable to see the world, the real world. So this is how it is said that he, at the same time, he is trying to dislocate. He is trying to dislocate by the cracking of the mirror, that is actually representing women's being a domestic sphere and just being attached to shadows, not being able to see the real world. But when she comes down, she dares, the mirror breaks, she sits in the boat, she lays in the boat. What happens? Her eyes become glassy. Again, this is called what he had at one moment he had tried to dislocate. Again, he is upholding by making her eyes becoming glassy. So that is why it is said that always this has clash between these things, like art versus life, illusion versus reality, patriarchal status quo, whether he wants to uphold it or dislocate it. So this is throughout the poem, the clash has been there. As I had discussed in the case of art versus life, that you must know that somewhere he is trying to convince us that art should remain, means artists should remain in aloof, in detachment. But if you look at the poem, he is talking about only the public life, where the condition of women he is discussing. So somewhere he being artist entering the life. So we cannot say he himself is aloof in detachment. So again the contradiction, again saying कि at one place he is trying to uphold, again at the same time he is trying to dislocate. This has been continuously happening in the poem, that we can observe and see. And there are so many lines which have so many meanings, we can say, which in it. And I was just reading, and this is a big essay that I found in the book. And here I can say that if you find that last lines of the essay are like that I'm talking about, Tennyson's poem itself is centrally fractured. Why this is centrally fractured? Because somewhere we can say this actually is unable to make us understand whether it is trying to uphold patriarchy and women's subjugation, or he is trying to dislocate. That is why it is considered to be centrally fractured. and that is why mostly he is said to be anti-feminist. But again, it is said at least he had given a chance women to come out and dare and to long for something that is public sphere. That's it. That is what the essay, this poem is talking about throughout the lines. If you read the lines, all the lines actually are just around this. Whatever the incidents are happening here, they are just talking about that. But the ending, if you just go for the ending, you must have known, after reading that when Lady of Shalott dies, Lancelot comes, he mused a little space. Mused a little space means perhaps, when a person is thinking, giving time and thinking, so you are expecting maybe he is going to say something that is going to dislocate patriarchal status quo, but not. This does not happen. For a moment, readers can feel something like that is going to happen, but finally this happens. He says, she has a lovely face. This is again a way of looking at a woman just for the sake of their beauty, not for the sake of their talent and potential and something else. So again it is upholding the patriarchal status quo, where a woman has to be beautiful, to be appreciated by men, has to be an object for men, where men can appreciate them for their outward appearance, not the way they can be equal to men or can be competitive to men. This is why this poem is considered to be anti-feminist. Again, I'm saying this is whatever the poems, whatever the themes are there, they always are somewhere in class, whether it is art versus life, illusion versus reality, it is patriarchal status quo upholding or dislocating. This is how we can say, but broadly we can say this is an anti-feminist text which has some signs of dislocating patriarchal status quo. Thank you very much.